Sonic's Green Hills Adventures Season 1 Chapter 16, Jessica's Return. Jade's Point of View.
Me and Veronica arrived back at my house not long after Sonic got the adoption news. Well, that was something strange, wasn't it, Veronica? I said deviously.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, but what are we going to do with the footage we have, because you didn't actually specify in that?
Veronica asked me with a nervous and confused shrug. Well, we're going to send it to the government to show that Tom and Manny lied that Sonic left her, and is still living free with them. However, I want to get a little more footage before we do so. So get ready to film him secretly at school tomorrow and then we'll do it. I replied thoroughly as I paced around the room and thought at how awesome this revenge was going to be.
I see where you're coming from, Jade, but I thought we both agreed with him that the government was not good on that front. You truly are being a hypocrite right now, unless you can explain that away from me right now.
Veronica asked me skeptically. But I threatened him and I do not like the idea of leaving it as an empty one. I screamed out in frustration.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you mad. Let's do it.
Veronica said defensively, and we both calmed down and started to think of moments that we should be secretly recording Sonic at.
Sonic's Point of View.
I woke up to the sound of my alarm clock and the beautiful morning sun shining into my cave. Man, that party last night was wild. Well, I better cross off 3 things off my bucket list. Own an electric guitar, be part of a family, and have the craziest wildest birthday party ever, said as I crossed those items off the list and got ready for the day. I could smell breakfast cooking, so I dashed downstairs. Good morning, Pretzel Mom, I said excitedly as I sat down at the dining table.
Good morning, Sonic. I'm afraid Tom isn't here because he went to pick up Jessica to bring her home. You see, her sentence is over.
Pretzel Mom explained as she put breakfast on the table. Oh, this month went by fast, and that's saying a lot coming from me, the fastest thing alive. I'm excited to see her when she gets back. Hopefully what I did to help her was effective, I said as I got lost in thought as I ate my breakfast.
What are you thinking about, Sonic?
Pretzel Mom asked me in concern. Nothing serious, just a little nervous, I guess. So when does Donut Dad return with her? I asked curiously.
Well, and he decided to take the fastest route by taking a flight there, so he will be back by lunch. He would have done that on the way there a month ago, however. You are supposed to still be a secret, so feeling in car was the safest way to travel for you.
Pretzel Mom replied thoroughly and reassuringly. Then she scratched me behind my ears, which made me purr loudly again. Who knew I could do that? I certainly didn't until Marina discovered it.
Wait, Sonic, did you just purr?
Pretzel Mom asked in surprise with a look of amusement on her face. I guess I think it happens when the back of my ears are scratched. The only other time that happened was with Marina at our movie marathon weekend sleepover. I replied as I shrugged.
Well, really, you didn't know hedgehogs purr, let alone alien ones, even with Coco living in your cave.
Pretzel Mom asked skeptically in shock. Well, technically it happened the first time, before I met Coco, so, yeah, I had no idea. I replied with a sheepish shrug as I finished my breakfast.
I know I should have expected something strange like this, but it's still strange. You don't sound like an earth hedgehog when purring. It's more like a cat.
Pretzel Mom points out with a peculiar look on her face. Oh, really, I don't. It must be because I'm an alien hedgehog. So what do earth hedgehogs sound like when they are purring? I said in curiosity.
I'll explain when you get back from school. How's that for a deal?
Pretzel Mom asked me when I to realize that I should be heading to school by now. Perfect, I'll see you after school, Pretzel Mom. Bye, I said as I dashed around the house and left for school.
Jade's Point of View.
Me and Veronica arrived at school just in time to catch some footage of Sonic hanging out with his friends.
I'm Jade. Other than proving that Sonic is still an Earth to the government, what does filming his everyday life do for us?
Veronica asked skeptically, which just made me roll my eyes. We need this just in case something useful happens while our cameras are rolling, so we can catch it instead of missing it because we were taking our phones out and getting them ready as it was happening. I explained seriously as we turned our attention back to Sonic.
Hey guys, last night was a great party.
We heard
Also, I got some news. Jessica's coming home today. She'll be back in Green Hills by lunchtime.
Sonic told them nervously. Veronica, did you hear that? I whispered excitedly.
Yeah, maybe we should give this up. I mean, this was only started as a way to get revenge, but now that she's home, isn't this kind of a waste of time to continue this?
Veronica asked me sheepishly. Maybe, but just in case. Let's keep filming. We can even get Jessica to help by getting footage that's close up, I replied seriously as I grinned at deviously.
Alright, but I thought those two hated each other, so how is she going to do that?
Veronica asked in confusion. Oh, I guess you didn't hear. But Sonic said he got through to her, so he trusts Jessica, and that will be his downfall. I explained in frustration that she didn't already know this.
It was now lunchtime, and the Blue Angels have just sat down at a table.
Hey, I wrote a song. Do you think we can play it later today?
Sonic asked excitedly as his tail wagged happily.
Really? Totally, that's awesome!
Marina said happily as Sonic was about to hand the sheet music to each of them when he realized what he forgot.
Oh no, I didn't make a part for you, Marina. I'm so sorry, totally forgot.
Sonic said apologetically.
That's all right, Sonic. I'll let you have the spotlight until then.
Marina replied reassuringly. Then Sonic gave the sheet music to Joy and Crystal.
I wanted to show everyone I don't deserve to be taken by the government, so I thought, why not make a song out of it? So lyrics-wise, what do you think?
Sonic told them as they looked over it.
I think it's brilliant. I can't wait to play it with you guys.
Crystal replied sweetly.
That's great, because I can't wait either.
Sonic said enthusiastic agreement.
I have an idea. After all, tomorrow night is the musical showcase. We needed a second song anyway for that, so we better practice thoroughly so we'll be ready to play it tomorrow night.
Joy said casually.
So what is the song that we're going to play?
Sonic asked curiously, then Marina whispered it into Sonic's ear.
Well, sound like a fun one.
Sonic said happily. Then Jessica walked up to them.
Hey, Sonic, long time no see. I just had to see you as soon as I got back. And I'm so sorry to all of you for everything I did, not just the kidnapping.
Jessica told them nervously because she wasn't sure how they would react and was afraid they wouldn't forgive her.
Of course we forgive you, Jessica. That's all in the past now.
Sonic told Jessica reassuringly as he held up his fist ready for a fist bump, and Jessica happily obliged.
So what did I miss since I've been gone for a month?
Jessica asked curiously.
Well, we had that movie marathon weekend, and Coco was the winner for best of the three. Then we went on a picnic the next day, and I met an earth hedgehog who now lives in my cave. I named her Coco, and she is so precious. And lastly, I had my birthday just yesterday, so I'm now 14, and you will never guess what I got.
Sonic told her excitedly as tears of joy started to form in the brim of his eyes as the memory of the beautiful gift he received played back in his head.
Oh, that's very interesting. So what did you get?
Jessica asked happily.
My very own electric guitar, and Tom and Maddie adopted me.
Sonic replied with pure joy.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could have been there. I'm so happy for you, congrats.
Jessica said with a sad smile, wishing she could have been there during those moments.
Well, actually, I did capture the moment Sonic met Coco. And Tom asked me to film Sonic when he was opening his presents, so I got that too. Why don't we show her the videos, guys?
Crystal offered happily, and her friends nodded immediately. Then Jessica watched the videos in pure delight. Tears of joy fell from her eyes as she watched the birthday video at the part where Tom was giving Sonic the adoption news.
Oh, that is so beautiful and sweet. And the way you met Coco is kind of funny in the good way, I assure you.
Jessica said once the videos were finished.
Oh, we have to think it's funny, but not for the same reasons you probably think it is. Out of all the 10 years of my isolation, this scenario or anything close to it has never happened until that day, so it...
Sonic explained as he starts giggle at the irony again.
Well, really? Well, then I'm glad you were able to get that moment in history on film.
Jessica said happily as she laughed at the irony herself.
Yep, I even sent it to Donut Dad and Pretzel Mom, and they loved it too.
Sonic added casually. Jade's point of view.
I just finished recording the conversation and turned to Veronica in rage. I can't believe this. Someone tricked Jessica into being friends with him. Oh, he's really going to pay now for manipulating our friend, I said, feeling outraged at this, especially since they fist bumped together.
Well, calm down, Jude. I'm sure it's just a huge misunderstanding. Maybe he just helped her see where she was wrong when she took things too far. In fact, now I'm starting to think we're doing the same thing.
Veronica said, trying to calm me down and think rationally. However, I didn't listen. I'm not as weak as Jessica is apparently, so I wasn't going to give up that easily. You're overthinking this, Veronica. Now come on, we are going to talk to her and make her come back to her senses. I mean, just look at this. She even said hi to them first and not us, her best friends. I said in annoyance that she was questioning my thinking. Then we woke up to Jessica. Hey Jessica, we need to talk, so please come with us, I said very seriously.
All right, I'll be right back, guys.
Jessica said casually. Then we walked into the hallway.
Hey guys, I missed you so much. So what did you want to talk to me about besides catching up with you for the past month?
Jessica asked like nothing was wrong. How could you let Sonic manipulate you like that? You would think out of all the people to see first when you came home it would be us, not your kidnapped victim and his loser friends, I said, venting out my frustration.
Okay, calm down. That is not what happened. He just had conversations with me about his past, so I understood him better. And he was right. I shouldn't have done that to him. He's already been through such trauma, and that started when he was just 3 years old. I'm done with being a jerk to everybody besides you, of course, since you're my friends. And they forgave me too, so if you're mad that I was talking to them, that's why I had to apologize for everything. I did not just as Sonic with Tamara as well. That month in prison opened up my eyes, so I'm done with being a jerk.
Jessica clinged to us defensively, which made me angry. Well, too bad we don't think the same way. I'm going to film Sonic to prove that he's earned. I'll see what happens after that. For example, see if him hiding from the government was necessary or not, I exclaimed boastfully.
Well, actually, I was thinking about how to solve the government problem, but this is not the way to do it. I'm going to make my own bullets of him playing at the showcase tomorrow night, with his consent to show he's just like us, just not from Earth that is as human as we are. Tom was right, just a kid like us who doesn't deserve any of torment nor anything of the sort. In fact, he's the poorest person I've ever met.
Jessica said defensively and very seriously with a look that could kill. Sounds like a competition to me. Good luck, I said at me, and Veronica walked away without saying another word.
Jessica's point of view.
I wasn't going to treat that like a competition, so I ran back to Sonic and his friends. Guys, there's something I need to warn you about. I told them as I sat down at their table catching my breath.
Are you okay, Jessica? What's wrong?
Sonic asked me in concern. It's Jade and Veronica, who are now my ex-friends. They were filming you because they wanted to show the government, and they are willing to take the risk thinking that all of this hiding was not necessary. Of course, I disagree with them. I don't know how to stop them either. I tried explaining everything to them, but they wouldn't listen to reason. I have a plan, but I only do it with your consent, Sonic. I want to film your performances at the showcase tomorrow night and maybe use it later once we've figured out a plan so the risk of you being dissected is no longer an issue. You see, I want to end that problem with government, but not at the risk of your life either. I explained to them thoroughly so they wouldn't misinterpret what I was saying to them.
I think that's brilliant because we wanted to end the tension too. After all, I would love to explore outside of Green Hills without hiding in Donut. After all, I would love to explore outside of Green Hills without hiding in Donut Dad's jacket.
Sonic said in agreement and we shook hands respectively. Great, speaking of which, what are the songs you chose to perform for that? I asked curiously to lighten the mood. Myrna replied with a playful smirk on her face. Not at all like surprise anyway. Well, I can't wait to hear you perform because it'll be the first time I hear you guys. I told him excitedly as we finished our lunch and left for
Jade's point of view.
That's right, after school and me and Veronica found Sonic. Okay, time to get really serious. We need to provoke Sonic on camera. I told Veronica her phone out and ready. But then she paused and glared at me.
Wait, what? Are you crazy? You'll get hurt.
Veronica said angrily. Exactly, Veronica. That's the point of filming it, I told her darkly. Hey, Sonic, I said to get Sonic's attention as we walked up to him.
What do you want, Jade?
Sonic asked me with anger in his large emerald eyes. Oh, just this, I said right before punching him in the face. He recovered quickly, unsurprisingly. He then stared daggers at me, which means my plan was working.
Who do you think you are?
Sonic demanded as the blue lightning coursed through his ghouls. Hey, you don't have the guts, I taunted, trying to push him even further.
Oh no, not again.
Sonic said in a distressed panic as he looked down at himself in horror at seeing the lightning, which caught me off guard.
Sonic's point of view.
I can't believe this just happened, but for some reason I couldn't calm my power down enough to shut it off. This just made my panic worse, which was leading my power to become more unstable and powerful. Please stop. I don't have full control over this power yet. The few times I have been able to control it, like with Eggman and Jessica, are flukes at this point. I begged warningly as I continued to try to calm myself down, but to no avail. And I knew my eyes even turned electric blue and luminescent again, which means this was getting real bad.
This is why the government should know out your danger to everyone, because your power isn't stable and not even you, the owner of the power, can control it.
Jade said viciously, but in a way that made her sound like she was the one in the right, since a crowd was surrounding us and seeing the scene unfold. So I did the only thing I could do to keep myself from hurting someone by accident. I had an emotional breakdown in tears. However, this one was the opposite version of that incident that caused all of this to happen in the first place, back when I was all alone.
Okay, Veronica, you can shut off the phone now.
Jade said as they finally left me alone, but I still couldn't stop sobbing.
Oh, Sonic, shit's all right. It's over and we're here for you.
Jessica, of all people, said softly as she carefully hugged me out of comfort. Then I finally was able to regain my composure and sit back up. Thanks, Jessica. It means a lot coming from you, I said gently as I hugged her back in gratitude.
It's the least I could do after what I did a month ago.
Jessica replied with a reassuring smile.
I know a way to cheer us up. Why don't we go to your house so Jessica can meet Kaka?
Marina suggested reassuringly, which made me smile again. That's a great idea, let's do it, I declared. Then we started heading to my house. We finally made it to my house. I was a little nervous about bringing my friends over without telling Donut Dad and Pretzel Mom. However, this was very last minute, so there wasn't much I could do about that. Pretzel Mom, I'm home, and I hope you don't mind, but I brought my friends over, I called out as I ran into the living room with my friends behind me, only to be greeted by Ozzy. Hey, Ozzy, did you have a nice day? I asked, happily, feeling a lot better already. Was he just licked me like crazy in response, which was enough to tell me it was a yes. Okay, Ozzy, please calm down, I said as he did so, and he finally calmed down.
Hey, Sonic, you can bring them over anytime. So how was your day?
Pretzel Mom asked as she walked over to us. Well, it was another mixed bag, but nothing I couldn't handle, thanks to having these amazing friends right here to have my back, I replied confidently.
Well, from the looks of things, I see you and Jessica have made amends, am I right?
Pretzel Mom said in pleasant surprise curiously. Yeah, she even helped me during those bumpy moments of the day, I replied happily. Then Pretzel Mom got a serious and protective look on her face.
So what exactly happened during those bumpy moments?
Pretzel Mom asked cautiously with an arched eyebrow. Well, do you remember Jade and Veronica, the ones who yanked my quills that one time? Well, they caused both incidents. You see, Jessica found out they've been spying on me with their phone cameras to expose me to the government about me still being here on Earth. Right after school, they cornered me into instinctively activating my electricity power by punching me in the face. It was absolutely terrifying because no matter what I tried, I couldn't power down my electric. I was so overwhelmed by the panic that a collapsed on me, and for some reason that's how I was able to power down the electricity flowing through my quills and even my eyes. Then they stopped recording and left. I explained thoroughly just when I came to remember something important about that and gasped in realization. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. They were recording the whole thing. They could do something awful with that footage. What am I going to do? I added as the realization slowly came into my brain, making my dread increase.
Oh my gosh, I'm afraid he's right, guys. This means they lied to my face when they were talking to me at lunch earlier today. They said they are just trying to prove that hiding from the government was necessary because he wasn't that kind of threat. I know because I'm trying to prove your dangers and filming it like they did after school proves it. So do you realize what this means? They want Sonic to be hurt by the government or worse.
Jessica said in frustration at her ex-friends and panic for my safety.
Okay, that's it. We need to get Tom involved in this stat. I'll be right back. I need to call him now.
Pretzel Mom said with deadly seriousness as she pulled out her phone and dialed Donut Dad's number. Then I remembered why I brought my friends over for and turned to Jessica. I guess I have to make this quick, guys. Jessica, follow me and you can meet Coco the Hedgehog, I said as I gestured for Jessica to follow me. Then we went into my cave and went over to Coco's tank. I put my hand down into the tank so Coco could crawl on my hand. Well, Jessica, meet Coco, I announced dramatically as I showed her Coco as she was securely standing in my hand.
Oh, she's so awesome and precious.
Jessica said as she gently petted Coco. Then Coco started making this popping noise in pleasure.
Oh, she's purring. I guess she likes me.
Jessica added happily. Oh, so that's what Earth hedgehogs sound like when they're purring, I said excitedly as my tail wagged again.
Yeah, wait a minute. You were emphasizing Earth hedgehogs? Yours sound different?
Jessica asked curiously. Yeah, it's more like a cat. It seems to happen when I'm scratched behind the ears, I explained sheepishly.
Oh, really? Do you mind if I...
Jessica asked nervously. Sure, go right ahead if you're that curious, I said playfully. Then she proceeded to scratch me behind the ears, which caused me to start purring intensely.
You've been so tense since that after-school incident, haven't you? And I could tell, so I'm glad I thought of this. It seems to be helping. By the way you're purring and how relaxed your face is right now.
Jessica commented in fascination, concern, and then relief as she did this. Thanks for that, Jessica. It actually felt really nice. So how could you tell I was tense from just scratching the back of my ears? I asked in fascinated curiosity once she finished.
I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I could feel that your ears were tense, which means you were tense all through your body as I began to scratch them. It's no wonder you purr when you're scratched there.
Jessica said matter-of-factly. Then Coco climbed onto my shoulder, nuzzling my neck.
It looks like she could sense your uneasiness and fear about what they will do with that video. She really does care for you a lot, huh?
Jessica pointed out as Coco continued to do this. Why, thank you, Coco. You and Jessica are great friends, I said for joy as I allowed Coco to climb off and walk back into her tank. Thanks again, Coco. Well, we better head back downstairs and see how the situation is going, I said with a seriousness I haven't felt since I sent Eggman to the Mushroom Planet. We arrived back downstairs to see Donut Dad enter the house.
Already went over to their houses, and it turns out they are not planning to send that foot anytime soon, but just in case the parents took away their phones.
Donut Dad said reassuringly, and we all were able to breathe after that. Thanks, Donut Dad. You're the best adoptive dad I could have ever asked for, I said as I hugged him tightly.
No problem, son. After all, we have family now, and family is the most important thing.
Donut Dad said seriously with a big smile on his face. Then I turned to my bandmates. You guys ready to try out the Soy Road? I asked enthusiastically, to which they all nodded very enthusiastically back. Great, because now I know the perfect place where we can do it. Just let me get 2 of my rings and we'll head to Joy's house so we can bring his drum set with us. I told them right before dashing to my cave and grabbed 2 rings and slipping them securely into my shoes so it won't lose them before we even got to use them. All right, I got the ring. Are you ready to go? I asked my bandmates who all cheered happily. You know, Jessica, we would love for you to come with us. I want to keep the song selections a surprise until tomorrow night. Hope you don't mind, but trust me, the wait will be worth it.
No problem, Sonic. I completely understand, and I agree it will be worth it.
Jessica said happily as she left the house to head back home. Then we went to Joy's house and found his drum set. Are you guys ready to see my portal rings in action or what? I asked excitedly as I pulled out one of the rings.
You bet we are. Let's go.
Joy said excitedly. Then I opened the portal to my old cave. All right, let's go before it closes, I said hastily as I went through the portal and they followed suit.
Who is this place, Sonic?
Marina asked me curiously as they looked around. Well, guys, welcome to my old cave, the very one I lived in for my first 10 years on Earth. I wanted to find a new use for it because I've lived here for a decade. I can't just abandon it for good besides. Listen to the acoustics, it's perfect for what we need, don't you agree? I asked them happily.
Totally. This is brilliant, Sonic.
Joyce said in excited agreement as we set up our instruments.
Well, then let's get practicing for we need to be ready by tomorrow night.
Marina said excitedly. You let's do this, I said enthusiastically.
Jade's point of view.
It was late at night and I heard my parents going to sleep, so I took that as my cue to grab my laptop and put it into its carrying case. Then I headed to Veronica's house. Once I got there, I knocked on Veronica's bedroom window. Thank goodness it was on the first floor. I said if it was.
Jade, what are you doing here at this time at night?
Veronica asked Ellie with an annoyed look on her face. I have my laptop here. Before they took my phone, I uploaded my footage to my laptop. Please tell me you did the same with your footage, especially that last piece, because it was the most vital at this point. I explained in a harsh whisper as I entered her bedroom by climbing through the window.
You're very lucky I did. I almost thought about deleting it. I really don't want to do this anymore.
Veronica said begrudgingly. What but routine? You're the only friend I have left. Don't do this. I said as this truly did hurt me to hear.
Alright, you don't have to pile it on, good grief. Let's just get it over with, okay?
Veronica said reluctantly as we opened our laptops and prepared to send our footage to the government.
Alright, it's ready to be sent now. So do we send it now or after the showcase tomorrow night?
Veronica asked seriously. Fine, we'll do it after the showcase. Only for you because you brought that question up in the first place. I said that I left her house and got back into my room before my parents could notice and went back to sleep with a satisfied look on my face.